This is not your normal podcast. Its purpose is to provide thought-provoking dialogue with a slighted perspective. Here we encourage influential conversations. Give us a listen, like and share. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to CEO and the Doctor.
What's up, fellas?
Yep.
I got everybody.
What's going on? What's going on?
All right, let me bring y'all back up. What's good, man? Tris, welcome to the show.
Man, thank you for having me.
Welcome. Doc, look at you, new look for doors and shit. What we got going on out there?
I got a couple of them, man. I've been like keeping them on ice, trying to like, all right, I need to like find that that situation where I just felt like it was time to wear one. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let me just see how it looks in the show. Let me see how it looks, on camera. And not too bad.
I'm with it. Live on Veterans Day. How long you been retired now, P?
Oh man, 10. August will be August. This past August was 10.
That's what's up, man. Well, we appreciate your service, Tris. How long did you do, bro?
Man, I was in the Army for 8 years. 8 amazing years, I think.
8 amazing years. How many deployments you got of that?
2. Yeah,
I got 2 in 2 years. So I'm pushing 18. Your auntie pushing 17. So we're trying to make it to the end. We got a bunch of boys that retired this year and shit like that. So I felt like on Veterans Day, what better way to, have a great show than to have a veteran on there.
Yeah.
Veterans, because the doc, he the vet too. So we appreciate your time, Tris.
Thank y'all for having me, man. Thank y'all for even acknowledging me. That's crazy.
Nah, man, you've been asking to get on the show since the beginning. I've been trying to work out the kinks, man. I think we're getting better here. We're trying to tighten the show up and change a few things. So I think it's slightly getting better, man. But I think we got our win now, man. So without further ado, man, we're just gonna go ahead and interview you. So let me bring you in. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, first of all, since we doing it, I need that thing to say 6 when I come on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you do. 6 is in there, man. I know stars, But to everybody who watching, man, my name is Triston Jackson. I'm an Army veteran. I served in the Army for 8 years. Then I grew on to become this activist that just want to see good for the people. And then it kind of grew from me focusing on homelessness to just focusing on my people. As I gained more knowledge, I kind of zoned in on just Black people because we got something going on right now. Not saying that I'm going to push homelessness to the side. It's just when we get this thing, to where I could pass it on to somebody else, I'll focus on the bigger picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. So tell me a little bit about, hey, I follow your Facebook. And by the way, I'm sorry, y'all. This is my nephew. So this is Tanisha's no kid nephew. So it's my nephew by blood and marriage. But love this guy, love this kid. He's got an amazing future, doing amazing things. But tell us how you kind of got into that whole thing, because you said you just kind of fell into it.
Yeah. So what happened was we was in the Army and we was going to NTC, and I lived in El Paso at the time, and every day I would see homeless people, just kind of holding up signs. And when you go to bigger cities, it's a bigger problem, because it's more people that live there. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. It's a small town. We see homeless people. But when I seen it in El Paso, it broke my heart. And I'm serving in the Army, and they say, this is the greatest country in the world. This is, this. But I had to ask myself, how can we be the greatest country in the world when we have this big problem, And so I stuck my foot in it. I reached out to some people, and boom, it kind of exploded, and everybody just hopped on, and they kept pushing me. But then it all fell apart, when the Army pull people this way, pull people that way, it kind of all just dwindled down. And then I found myself back at square one asking, what can I do for my country this go round?
I feel that, man. And then tell us a little bit about your activism when it came out. You were doing shit to get people out to vote. You've been on a couple like networks. You was on Impact News. Like, just give us a little bit about that.
Well, the whole activism thing came from I wrote a speech and I reached out to this organization called Mobile for Us. The founder, her name is Tiffany Trotter. She has a beautiful spirit, and for some reason, she can get the spots in Alabama and Mobile where nobody else can. Like Mobile Mardi Gras Park is like sacred ground, and it's crazy. For some reason, she can always get the permit going, and it ain't like she a white girl. She black, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she hold fist up black. Let everybody know she black, so she can always pull it off. And I reached out to her, told her I wanted to come out there and speak, and she saw the speech and was like, come on, like, let's do it. Like, that's what people need to hear. And I got out there, and it boomed after that, even though I dropped the ball on the speech, if you ask me.
I feel that. And then so from that, you got somebody put you in to be on Impact News with Carolyn Davis?
So what happened was this guy, his name is Dr. Bakar. He reached out to me, put me on his podcast. And the lady, her name is Carol Angela. She reached out to me to put me on Impact News. And then from that, it like spread it like wildfire. Everybody was like, well, we got to get that guy on our podcast. Let's see what he's talking about. And I just never shut up after that.
and you shouldn't. Once you've got that stage, that platform, you also consider you start off with the most genuine, pure intentions anyway. And you, now that you have that platform, and more people are embracing you, never give that away. Never give up, the ability to impact and make change. One thing you said early on, when you started to address homelessness, the one thing, and somebody told me years ago, the one bad thing about the military is you meet people. And I was like, what? You meet people and they leave. Yeah. And my initial, foray into the military was, writing letters and licking stamps. Man, I'm not trying to write no dude no stamp. No letter and mail him a letter, so I know I make light of it, but that was one of the hardest things. Probably the first 5 years I was in was I meet so many amazing people, and you lose contact once you all spread out. But take this on faith. Each one of those people you touched, you left something there. So they may not be able to directly impact the things that you're trying to do. Taking on faith that each one of them are impacting the world their own way. Having known CEOs as long as I have, that's one of the things that I'm most proud of. Not their military service. I want them to do well. But the guys that mean the most to me, that I feel like I've left, that make me proud that I've left an impact on, I look at how they're doing in their personal relationships, how they're doing professionally in their life after the military. The military is easy. I've always thought that was probably the easiest job I've ever done, deployments included. But we have the ability to impact so many different people, so many walks of life. And are we really taking advantage of that? And I don't think a lot of people really take stock in what the military provides us in the way of impacting others. And it's obvious that you've taken advantage of that. So kudos to you.
I tell the people all the time, like, I believe the military was like a stepping stone to provide everybody else something in the world, because it gave me, first of all, I always had something to say. I always been big brother to everybody around me. Like, if you want to fight your battle, or you scared to go fight your battle, I'll go fight it for you and then tell you about it later, But it gave me leadership skills, like the ability to speak to people and reach people in a way that I never have before, And here I am.
Hey, that's real, man. Because we talk about mentorship all the time, and a lot of time you don't understand the voice you have because you ain't never really gave yourself that chance to speak. But we all are like, I think we all innately are leaders. I think I learned my leadership from just playing sports. I always been the smallest, and that never like really curtailed who I was and what kind of personality I had. So once I got the right mentors in my life, and I got 4, one of them's already passed away. God bless Al Thomas and his family, but they really like put me on the path. The doc being the one, then being one of them, they put me on the path to get to where you're talking about, having the confidence to feel that big brother role and not feel like, okay, I'm trying to coach these people more. So look, I'm just trying to be a part of your life and help you. You know, you listen, or you can choose not to. But at the end of the day, if I have that impact, it might reach you 2 or 3, 5 years from now. And then I know it's still worth it. So that's something that I always talk about, man. And we could probably have you on again in another time. We can just talk mentorship, because that shit is everything. When your kids, your family, your friends, you know, community. That's I mean, that's ongoing, man. So that's definitely real. But one more thing I want to hit you with before we get into our actual subject, like, tell us about your entrepreneurship, man. Because every time I look on Facebook, bro, you got some new shit going on. A business here, you know, you've been a producer for a couple like artists. Like, come on, bro. Like,
my entrepreneurship is wild. Like,
it's crazy. Tell us about it.
If people bring me an idea, I'll search it. I'll look it up for about a week and find out, you know, is this something I can do? Like, how much money do I have that I can put up front, right?
Yeah.
I try to do as least as possible, you know? So with the whole music thing, right? His name was Pipe. I held up my end of the bargain, you know. I did what I was supposed to do. You know, all he had to do was create the music.
Yeah.
I was running ads. I was say cheesing, and, you know, whoever would listen, I was pushing it to him. And it worked. It worked for a little while, you know what I mean? And so that fell off. So I had to find something that was for me where I didn't have to depend on nobody. So then I went to fishing, right? I love fishing. If you know me, I love fishing. I'll go out there 5 o'clock in the afternoon, come back 5 in the morning.
Yeah, he's a
fisher. I was like, you know, what can I do to where it strictly depends on me? And I said, man, I can sell lures. And so I went out there fishing, and everybody said, what lures you using? I'm like, oh, this is my brand. You know what I'm saying? If you catch 133 fish, everybody going to want to know what you're using. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it kind of just spread it. I started a Shopify website. Shopify is like $80 a month. If you go out there and sell 1,000 packages for $5, you do the math, right?
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had to ask myself that. And then I listen to Hove all the time. And Hove is talking about moving packs, nickels and dimes and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why can't I sell fishing lures for that same price?
Yeah, you doing it. But I mean, even before that, when you were in El Paso, you had your own shoe store.
I had my own shoe store, right?
Yeah.
In El Paso, it was like a thing for the culture. Everybody wanted to be in the culture. But when you go to the mall, it ain't nothing but Team Jordans in there, right? You know, coming from down south, we wear retros. You know, and I see that on Instagram. So I'm like, can I plug in with some retros somewhere? I start getting on the phone with everybody. Boom, I got to plug on the retros. Let's do it. You know.
And I hate that I didn't make it out there, man. El Paso is about 8-9 hours from here. But me and your auntie, I mean, but I think you had closed it down before we even got to Texas, though. But that was our goal, to like get out there and see your store, man, because you had the dope ass murals. I mean, you was doing business, man. So just watching you work, man. You writing a book too, right?
I'm writing a
all over the place.
The thing about the children's book is I hope to inspire kids while they're young. But when I write something, I'm like, I can add this to it. But really, I'm just trying to write 10 pages like Cat in the Hat or something. But then I end up writing a novel for grown-ups. So the thing with that is I'm trying to dwindle it down to, you know, a children's book again, because right now it's like for grown-ups, Harry Potter type stuff.
So this is what my advice would be to you, right? Because you essentially been working on 2 books.
I've been working on 4 books.
All right, so don't talk about that adult version of what you've been writing.
Mm-hmm.
That can go into another direction. You also keep that, and my kid's book, 10 pages, you know, and just focus. A lot of things are just willing. You have to have a willingness to take a chance, man. You know, and I look at it from the very first time that each one of us left home. All right. Me personally, I'd never been out of Chicago until I went into the Air Force. I'd never been on an airplane. So it was literally like me standing on the edge of a cliff, 1 foot, eyes closed, taking a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And every chance we take is essentially the same. They get less daunting the more these chances that you take, because you've proven so much more to yourself about who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done that in fucking spades. When you think about it, you've done that in spades.
Doc, you just scared him to talk about playing spades with me, you know. I'm just talking in the family.
He the big talker. Nobody wants to, you know what I mean? But that's what's up, man. So I appreciate that, nephew. Letting everybody know. So if you got anything, once we come to the end, or if you want to do it now, shoot out, you know, any websites you might got, anything you need to promote. You know, I'm here for that. I'm here.
First of all, I'll shoot out my Instagram, which is THE_0RACL3, the Oracle. I just ask that people follow me on there, because I do share my message on there, right? I try to do a weekly address where I write a speech, record it, and make like a video to where you can see where we've been and where we going.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Like that. Yes, sir.
And that's my goal for every week. Right now, that is my only goal. Not to say Fishing Lures fishing season is over, right? Next March, I'll be back and I'll share the website. The book is coming, and I'll share it on the Instagram.
Okay.
But right now, my message is strictly for the people. That's my focus.
I'm with that, man. And so as we talk about that, you was loud and proud in who you voted for. And that was Mr. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And, you know, I share that same that's who I put into play as well. And so one thing that I really want to break down, man, well, first we got to say what's real and what's not. It took a couple days. We finally got the call, but, you know, somebody hasn't conceded yet. And I think we all were expecting that type of situation. Yeah. But staying on topic, you know, like my mind really started to race on this, man, because I was like, all right, here we go. We got Democrats back in the big seat. You know, we still got our same seat in the House, but we don't have the Senate quite yet. It might happen to Georgia in January. But my question becomes, you know, I had a little rub with the Black community after Obama's era, because there was a lot of people who were saying Obama didn't do shit for me as a Black person. And that was kind of running rampant in the Black community. And as we get ready to ramp back up in a Democratic presidency where they, you know, traditionally favor minorities, I got to thinking, like, what is the real reasonable expectations? What are people, do you feel like, you know, the Black community, what are they truly expecting?
Well, we know Black people are expecting 40 acres and a mule off the rip. But,
right.
You know, that ain't realistic no more.
And somebody else to work those acres.
Yeah, that died with Abraham Lincoln. Right. We didn't get that because that idea died with Abraham Lincoln. For me, the realistic expectations is to advance our people into the right direction. For 4 years, we stayed kind of stagnant and just, you know, where we at is where we always be. That's good enough. And some Black people they were happy with that. But for me, that's like, nah. We gave y'all 400 years of hard work. We only been free 157 years. I'm gonna repeat that one more time.
Yeah.
We only been free 157 years. So if we go, you know, 3 generations back, you'll find somebody who was a slave. If you come back 2, you'll find somebody who lived during segregation. And then you get to that 3rd generation, they're like, what happened? We happy. We can go eat with them. We can go. But it doesn't stop there, right? For me, realistic expectations is to get that ball rolling again, because we are owed something. Indentured servants got 25 acres. They got a weaponry. They got food. They got all this, right? So indentured servants was all white except for one. He became a slave because they changed the law in Massachusetts and all that good stuff, and he became a slave. So you are owed something.
Okay.
Some people estimate it as 1.5 trillion, 350,000 per family. They all estimated something different. But what I'm preaching to the people is, don't stop here. Get that ball rolling again. Make their mind work again, and let's see how far we can get.
Shit. Okay.
We've had this discussion briefly offline about what reparations would actually look like, right? And I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna have to send you that the paper I wrote on it. Now, let's be realistically. I don't think that the government, me personally, I don't think that the government could foot the bill on paying reparations to descendants of slaves. So that being said, yeah, sure, the government owes something. Okay, the government to me owes one, an apology to every black person walking the face of this country. Two, dismantle every system within this country that perpetuates racism. Every last one of them. That's what the government can do. Now, where the monetary stuff comes in, you have companies like Wells Fargo, Tiffany Jewelers, JP Morgan Chase. There's hundreds of companies that are still in business now that reap the benefits of slavery. I don't want your money. I don't think that black people, we shouldn't be asking them for a dollar amount. Give me a check. You know what I want? I think that every black person that descends from slaves, we should demand stock options in all of these companies. That's how you build wealth. You don't give somebody, here's $200, go make yourself rich. No, I want to get rich the same way you got rich. Stock options. Don't give me a check. That's where I think it needs to come from.
He preaches that principle, man. And, you know, as I think about it, like, you know, what are the true expectations? I just want to clear the air. Like, we can't go in there thinking like I think a lot of people felt like, you know, Obama was going to isolate every other, you know, race and focus heavily on just black people because, you know, his father's black. So, you know how that goes. He's black. But I think we have to be very reasonable and understand, like, you know, as we get our party into play, hell yeah, like you said, we owed something. But I think everybody else feels like they owe something too. White people voted for Joe. Hispanic people voted for Joe. A lot of people voted for him. So in this new wave, I feel like every individual has to make that reasonable expectation and have a real grown-up conversation with whether it's their spouse, family members, children, and not put these crazy like what do we think is supposed to happen? You know what I mean? Like, and that's hard for me to explain sometimes. Like, do you think he was supposed to, like, no kidding, absolute value black people and everybody nothing, right? Like, y'all ask the question.
Black people don't realize we only make up 15% of the population, right?
Right.
And white people make up 60.
Yeah.
White people always gonna win, right? So you got to take your little victories in a war and make them little victories add up until you win the war.
Absolutely.
Until they understand that, you can't talk to them.
Yeah, and it's disrespectful to talk about Obama like that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We come from a group of people that want instant gratification instantly, you know, and I think because we are three men of color, we can see it for what it is, and that's a very unfortunate thing that we can't look at situations and pick and choose our battles. Some shit you just don't follow your sword for. You know, you're gonna lose. Okay, so you have to pick the smart battles and fight those with everything you got for that little small win, and chip away at the things that you want. That's not saying, you know, be subservient. That's not saying, you know, kowtow and be happy with the way that things are just because you're told you should be happy with the way that things are. No, it's not. It's being realistic. Okay, you're not gonna win everybody. All of us did time in the military. CEO's still doing time in the military. You know that there's some things. All right, I'm going to here. I'm gonna fight for it. And other things you're like, nah, we're gonna have to take this one on the dome. Get out there and do what we got to do. Press. You know, that's just how shit is. That's how life is.
Let me get on this Obama thing real quick because I love Obama. Everybody know that about me.
Absolutely.
I call him my dad, right? And I call him my dad for a reason. Because for me, my dad wasn't there. But the first black man I could look and see and say, hey, I want to be like him, was him. Like, it wasn't Michael Jordan. I love Mike. Mike is the GOAT. But for me, it was Obama. Obama he single-handedly changed my life by me seeing him on TV. He made it say, hey, it's cool to be on TV and be able to speak. It's cool to be able to get up there and dress nice. He shot basketball. He smoked cigarettes. Like, To me,
he was a normal dude.
You know, it was possible.
Real dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and as I think about this, man, it gets my mind going because you know, I feel like hearing people talk negatively about the one thing that we have in our lifetime that nobody else has had, a black president, only got me to think, like you saying, like sometimes we can be very unreasonable. Like, do you understand what this man meant to the you know, to lives in general? Like you said, he changed your life because what are we used to seeing? Okay,
Basketball players,
rappers, you know, entrepreneurs, shit like that. But we are never given that position. Like we can be the man, and he was
We were
fucking
made
man
for 8 years.
there are in the black community, no, in the world at large, we feel certain stereotypes of success. Actors, athletes, entertainers, singers. That's pretty much it. You know, and to see Obama normalize being black and being in power, and being astute and aware enough to understand that this moment, my 4 years can't solely be about the change that black people want me to make. I have to look at this, especially being the first black man, especially. He has to look at the whole picture. He can you imagine if he did try to focus this solely on black issues for the first 4 years?
He would have been killed.
He would have been killed. One and done. Not to mention, how many of his years in office did the GOP control the Senate?
And that's where I was going with this next brief. You know, like even with Joe and Kamala, they potentially face the exact same thing.
Yeah.
This I mean, unless these two senators pull it off and these runoffs from Georgia, and then we can swindle some things. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna put y'all on the spot real quick. Ask y'all two questions. Well, actually one question, but it's for each one of y'all. So for me, so the question being is, you know, if you had to pick one thing in these next 4 years you wanted to see, just even if it moved, if the measuring stick moved just a little bit to the right, what would it be? And I'll start. For me, I want to see like something that's going to be nationally that will reach down to the state level where they have to look at changing police, like the way policing is done. We got to put out some kind of like guidance, some kind of background checks. You know, maybe it's not to be crazy and say everybody's got to be, I won't say crazy, but maybe it's reaching right now to say everybody's got to be, you know, educated, i.e. 4-year degree to become a cop. That probably would make, you know, things very difficult. But there's got to be some kind of policies put into place where we're not marked anymore. I just started watching a show and I'm late to the game. It's called Woke. And if you check that show up, it's a pretty fucking great show. And I like all the artistry and everything about it. But, you know, sometimes we can walk around like not me, right? Like, and I'm not even on bullshit. There was a time before this shit really started like hitting us in the face every fucking day. Like another black man killed, another black man shot, blah, blah. I think silently I was thinking like, well, I'm a black man in the military. I kind of got this layer of protection. Maybe, you know, and you think not me. Fuck, that's not true. It could be you. So that's my one thing. We got to move that shit to the right a little something. That's my one thing. Trish, I'll start with you. What do you think? One thing that you want to see in 4 years?
Well, in 4 years, I wanted black people to be able to get a home easily. Right. I want home ownership in the black community to be more accessible. And I say that because I grew up in, you know, when I lived with my mom, before I lived with my grandma, we moved from place to place to place to place to place. It was never stable. And, you know, having a stable home is key to being successful in life. Right. Because, you know, where I come from. Yeah. Me, when I tell people where I come from, I live in Roger Williams, I live in Tomeville, I live in Campground, and make it seem like I'm lying, but like I really like moved everywhere, you know what I mean? Because we were never stable. And once I got stable when I lived with my grandmama, it changed my life. It gave me discipline, and I knew I was coming home to this place every single night. I was taking a hot shower, hot bath. I was going to have food. It made everything, you know, routine, and I was able to focus. Whereas when we were moving everywhere from place to place, it's like, I don't know when we're going to uproot and go here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. Shit. I never thought of like that because though I grew up in the hood, the projects, you know, it was stable for me. I stayed in one place my entire life. And then actually I ended up taking it over for a little bit because my mom was ill. So I kind of ran the house. But yeah, like, so growing up, even in a rough spot, because I was stable, it still made me focus. I graduated top 10% of my class, the whole 9. So I never even thought about it like that, man. So that's perspective right there. Pete, what do you think? One thing, move the needle to the right. One thing. You there? Oh shit, I think you froze. Oh no. Wait a minute.
I can't. You might be muted your mic or something.
Oh no, Pete. Hold on. You still there, P? We see your eyes moving. Proc got all this damn money and no internet.
You living out in the boonies. We see you waving, but we can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Here you go. All right. So one thing.
I'll go one further on that. Look, I moved around the south side of Chicago. I'm still here. Like,
we had a major delay, but
I got you. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, come on with it. Yep, I got you. Come on.
It ain't me. I got both of y'all. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. So tell me one thing to the right.
I got both of y'all.
All this shit coming in now. You still in? Me. Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
It might be him. He just in denial.
I got both of y'all. I have you both.
All right. Go ahead. So far away. So go ahead. Tell me your one thing to the right.
So to touch on what Triston just said, I moved around the south side of Chicago a whole lot. I didn't find.
Oh shit! Struggling out there.
All right. I didn't have that stable environment until I got into the military.
Shit,
go one further as far as this.
You struggling, dog. You struggling, man down.
He gonna have to come back in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to edit like a motherfucker. Hold on.
Hey, we live. You can't edit this.
Well, not this part, but we're gonna have to. That's what makes live fun. You just got to go with it. But in we actually shoot it out, I'm gonna edit the hell out of it.
But since we live, let me go here and then. You know, now that Biden is elected, you know, the fight just kind of begun. We gotta get in there and make sure he hold his promises. You know, he made a plan, lift every voice, and the plan is great. But like I said earlier, you got to chip away at the wins and, you know, decide when. Because I was arguing with some Hotep guys earlier, I think yesterday, and nobody pissed me off like Hotep and evangelicals because they are both extreme.
Hotep, yeah. Yeah.
Listen, nobody pissed me off. I don't know. They might be tired. Hotep and evangelicals because they too extreme. You know, Hotep is saying he should only do things for black people and black people only. Why is the online sale of guns one of the first things in his agenda? It should be. Fucking Dylan Wolf shot it. He went in the church and shot all those people in the AME church, one of the most historical churches in the world.
Yeah. Unreal.
You should want to see some kind of control on guns. Not saying that they're going to come to everybody's house and take guns and stuff, but having background checks and having people at gun shows, you know, get an FFL to sell guns should be, you know, one of those things you want to see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and that's real, man. Like, and I feel like those are the things that we don't discuss because everybody went out and vote. They cast their vote, you know, it's tears and everybody's crying and happy. But then they had that conversation of what are we really looking forward to? Mm-hmm. Like, don't have that conversation And I'm sorry, don't have that expectation without having a conversation. And like you said, like you got people that are extreme. Like you said, they should only isolate and only take care of black people, and everybody else gets, left out in the cold. And they say, well, we're owed this, we deserve this, which might be true, but unfortunately, we have to look at it in a reasonable way. Like, what is it that we really want? And I think like one thing I wanted to hit on a little bit was like Ice Cube with the contract with Black America.
Mm-hmm.
I read that whole fucking thing, and it's a lot of good shit in there.
Yeah.
And with that said, like if I had to say what reparations might look like, I think that was the first time I read something that didn't only focus on a dollar value,
mm-hmm.
and actually gave us, the ability to start to rise and
mm-hmm.
equal ourselves out. Because unfortunately, we have to really realize that we are not equaled out yet. We are not there. We are not in a position of equality in the sense of when you walk into a bank and you white, you black, Hispanic, whatever, all three individuals are going to be looked at the same way. As long as you meet, whatever those, qualifications are, everybody getting along.
Well, I tell people all the time, we are in a race and we 300 years behind. Like, what can you do to catch up 300 years? It's nothing really you can do. It got to be laws written to catch up, to get back in the race where you neck and neck in the race.
Yeah, that's true. Let me try to bring him. Oh shit, he didn't went away. I can't. Shit, he gonna have to come back. But nah, man. Like, what I want people to do in this time that we have before January 20 is to really, and especially in the black community,
mm-hmm.
you really got to break it down. Ask yourself reasonable questions. Go back to Joe's policy. Go back to the Democratic. Like look at the Democratic way of thinking, the way that they institute things, and really break that down and find out what it is that you need to see personally, right? Personally, what you need to see personally to be able to say this was a successful 4 years or whatever it is. Don't come up with these, like, in my mind, like unmeasurable. That's something we always talk about when I'm talking to my NCOs. You got to have measurable and attainable goals, man.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 years, if I don't have control of Senate, Mitch is still sitting in that fucking thing. It's gonna be the same shit that Obama ran into.
Mitch ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Mitch ain't going nowhere. We got to get him outnumbered. That's the key. We got to get Mitch outnumbered to where Mitch doesn't have the platform that he has right now.
Yeah.
But we 2 senators away, and he'll become the minority.
Yeah.
So it will be good.
We got to X his ass out, bro, because he did the same shit in Obama's presidency, man. Like, and then to see the ultimate contradiction when it came to like putting this new Amy Comey into the fucking
told Obama, we will not
out.
Put a judge in there until somebody has been elected in the last year of election. That's what he said. In the last year of election, we will not put a Supreme Court. You can mark my words. Man, came time. This man got like 2 months to election, a month and a half to election. They hurried. They sped the process up.
Yeah,
which was crazy.
All right, he's back. Let me see if I can bring him back. Smooth Criminal, you back up in
here? Nah, he ain't back. That internet slower than.
Oh man, he be telling me that he be having issues out there, but we'll keep him there until he can pop back in. Okay, so here's another thing. So we're gonna keep moving with the show. So I apologize for all the technical difficulties. Y'all know CO and the doctor. If you don't have a technical difficulty, it ain't the show. So now I gotta ask, like, no shit, bro. Like why Joe? Why Kamala? Because their backgrounds when it comes to the black community and shit that they've said and done.
Yes.
People were really targeted in that. So tell me about it.
All the articles before I even got my voice out there, because I'm not a camera guy. Like, I had to grow into this being on camera. I used to write articles for Vocal or whatever. If you follow me closely, I wasn't for Joe or I wasn't for Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I wasn't for them, but strictly because of their record.
Mm-hmm.
But what caught my attention was, you got to be a real big person to go out there and apologize.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because Trump could have apologized, and I would have been like, all right, let's see what he's talking about. Because I'm one of those people. I always want to see the president do well because I care. I care for this country deeply. Like in my heart, I was willing to give my life for the idea of this country, not of what it is, but the idea of what it could become.
Very true.
So for him to apologize and for her to apologize and say, hey, look, that wasn't my intentions. It told me a lot about them. I was more so for a Bernie Cory Booker ticket.
Yeah, Cory Booker. I mean, and I think he's nowhere close to peaking, but I felt like he was just a little early. You know, like everybody wanted to target him like the next Obama, because you know Obama made that wave in 2004, and it was like, who the fuck is this?
Obama stormed the Democratic
though. Yeah, he changed the game in 2004, and they were like, yo. And I think Corey still got it. Hell, I even like Pete, you know, and America just got to be bigger than Pete being, you know, homosexual to see past that, to be able to hear what he got to say. Shit, I even like, I mean, he a little bit different, but Andrew Yang, like there's a lot of people that we could potentially lean on in the future.
Pete and Andrew face a problem that, you know, like the next black president won't see. It'll be another black president before either one of them get into the White House. Because Pete is gay and Andrew is Asian. That's the only reason. Not because of their policies or nothing like that. But that's their problem. The white folks will be like, we don't want to see no Asian running our country, or we don't want no gay man running our country.
Yeah.
Cory Booker probably be president before one of those two be president. And that's for sure. But Biden's plan is written. Lift Every Voice is the name of the plan. If anybody want to go out there and you know, research it, it's about 18 different pieces in there strictly for black people.
Yep.
Right. And I think everybody should go out there and do their own research, because it's key to find out how it'll affect you. Because if you're an entrepreneur, it'll affect you differently than if you're a worker.
True.
Than if you're a senior citizen, or if you know, in the middle class. Everybody will affect differently. So you got to go in there and research the plan and find out how it'll affect you.
That's
but
true.
The plan is key to the success, right? And Kamala, let's talk about Kamala. Kamala was a attorney general, right? So she'll know how to undo the 94 crime bill that Joe wrote, and we're not letting him off the leash for that. But we got to make sure.
What Joe said is a jungle.
Yeah, but we got to make sure that gets undone. And who better than a black woman who is an attorney general?
True. I mean, that's respect, man. Hold on, I think we got he moving.
You know what I had to do?
Doc, what's up, baby?
Back 3 years later.
I had to turn this off.
Yeah, to turn it off. Back on the Mac.
Yeah, I'm back on the Mac, man.
All right, man.
See? This is why I don't like messing around with Windows-based products.
Okay, so basically, we'll catch you up, and then we'll let you give your position.
Okay.
Basically, I asked him, you know, why Joe and Kamala, based on what they were, no kidding, facing from the black community themselves, like talking about their track record. You know, Kamala had a history as the AG of, you know, slapping some people in jail out in California, making it tough for him. And then Joe, 94 crime bill, you know, he said it's a jungle. He don't want his family, you know, dealing with the jungle, basically. And and Triston, you know, hit on the point of, you know, originally that wasn't his position. Like, you know, he was more Cory Booker and Bernie Sanders type ticket. And I feel like a lot of us, as we watched the DNC happen, you know, things kind of shifted. Because to me, one thing I felt that might hurt them is the fact that, if you remember, Kamala and Joe were like at each other a little bit during the DNC. They had a lot of, you know, disagreements. And I was like, now they paired up. Like, I don't know if that's going to sit well. So you tell me, like, you know, with them facing that potential backlash, you know, why is this the ticket to move us forward?
So, I thought about that when especially when Joe said that Kamala would be his running mate. Me personally, you and I talked about it, I prefer Susan Rice. I just think she's, you know, she would have been a better choice, especially from the international perspective. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Can you imagine if something you said or did was held against you 26 years later?
Yeah, there you go. That's real. Start with that. That's real.
You know, and I understand that their decisions at those times were far-reaching and affected a lot of different people. But look, let's understand something. Not all of us are put in these positions, and not all of us have wisdom in those moments. You attain wisdom over time. You know, so yeah, decisions were made back in 1994 by Joe Biden, and you know, Kamala Harris did some things during her time as the AG in California that I'm sure they may look back on now like, yeah, that was fucked up. We've all done that, but we've all done that. You know, you can't expect instant wisdom because you're dealing with people. We are fallible. So I can't hold their choices from 26 plus years ago against them. I can only hold them to a standard now. You know, and I wish people would stop doing that. We tend to live in a world where there's an instant double standard. When somebody else does something wrong, I'm going to judge you, but don't judge me for doing the same thing. You know,
that's real. I remember. I'm sorry, man, but I had that problem with Joe when he was like, you know, what he told CTG, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah. Oh no, we had our discussion about this,
and I think that bothered me so much because, you know, and I wasn't even trying to break it down into his like core, like come on, Joe, you don't know shit about being black, whatever. Right. My point became like, don't be so overconfident, so over cocky, because let's be fucking real. That's what lost Hillary the election. She thought she had some shit locked up. That's what
Hillary felt entitled. So, Hillary felt entitled. I felt
like he was being entitled because he was looking at his track record, like 47 years Democrat. It was like, yeah, Joe, but you had that stretch, like you said, 26 some years ago, where you did the wrong shit. So don't come back, you know, now like, oh well, shit, now forget that. But like Triston said, while you were gone, he apologized on the national stage. Kamala apologized on the national stage. They owned, as we say all the time, own their shit.
And that's huge.
You gotta let it go forward after that.
Yeah, that's huge.
You ain't knowing shit about what he said about, you know, like the, you know, exonerating the what they call it, what's it, the New York, not New York 5, Central Park 5. Like he still wanted them to be locked up, and they're not guilty as hell.
Yeah, they're not guilty as hell. And see, when we had our discussion about, you know, Joe saying that if you're not black, and if you're not black, and you know, voting for me, whatever his exact words were, my stance was very simple. All right, you have one that you know, and then you have Joe. You know, you got this motherfucker here that you know, if he could bring back lynching tomorrow, he would.
He would.
Shit, yeah.
You know, so I looked at it like, yeah, motherfucker Joe, right? Shit, I have to check my blackness if I even had the thought that I would vote for fucking Trump, bitch ass. Excuse my French.
I understood what he was saying when he said it.
Yeah,
because he like, well, if you looking at Trump and you vote for him, you ain't black. That's what he was trying to say, but he didn't relay it like that. He said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And then we took it like, well, wait a fucking minute here, because it comes to things we ain't proud of either.
It can come across like, yeah, motherfucker, you just somebody else that wants to take advantage of us.
Yeah,
you know.
But I think the Democrats learn black people make presidents. We make presidents.
Yeah.
And I think the Republicans are going to face the same problem that the Democrats faced in the 60s, where they couldn't win no elections.
Right.
So the Republicans got to go out there and change their message, because they see, look, we got to get them black people. We got to get them.
Change their message. They got to change how they look. They got to change this look. From my perspective, the Republican Party looks white male and 70 and above. And they have that attitude of, the world was so much better back when I was 30, 40, 50 years old. And I don't want it to change. And what I'm saying is, there's too many dark faces. There's too many women. Well, y'all better change it. They better change that outlook, because you know what? This last year, I have never seen such a concerted effort to get people out to vote. And what the Republicans failed to realize, it wasn't to get them motherfuckers to vote. It was to get us off our asses to vote.
True. And I bring up some heavy hitters, man. And with that said, I gotta just tag something. And I'm late to the show because I think this came out in the summer. But I know how you feel about this, Pete. But if you have not watched Uncle Tom, that documentary, Larry Elder is like one of the producers. He's definitely in it. And, your girl is in there. What's her name?
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
It's been on my shit to play.
Like,
I've just been like avoiding it.
Talk about that with the
I've been avoiding it.
Pete.
All
So
right.
you gotta do your research. But
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna watch it.
You got it, Tris. If you ain't seen it,
I ain't seen it. I gotta watch it.
Please watch it and let's text about it.
Let me ask you this though: is Candace Owens really an Uncle Tom?
Candace Owens is an opportunist. Let's be real. She's an opportunist.
And that's what I want to talk about when we had.
That's what I was getting at right there.
Yeah, we got to talk about like what, and I think I've always defined Uncle Tom as wrong. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what we're gonna have to talk about on the next show. But it really opened my eyes to some shit because I like I said, I don't choose a side and just stick to it. But they hit on a lot of things that I feel like in the culture, like damn, we got to open our eyes to, because however your parents vote, it's usually how you vote until you have your own free will, your own free mind.
My parents didn't even vote.
Right. But you know why you're voting. A lot of times we don't know why we're voting. We just are told. It's like going to church. When you're a kid, it's Sunday, I don't want to do this. But you got to do it because your parents or your grandparents tell you this is what we're supposed to do.
Right.
And so when you start to find out why you're doing things, you just kind of blind lead the blind. And so they try to make that a big piece of their story. But it's much more than that. But please check it out.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it this weekend, man. So I'll hit both of y'all up while I'm watching. Now, look, I'm gonna tell you when I'm watching it, so we can all get on there together at the same time and start dissecting this shit. Because
I got one last question before we get out of here.
All right,
that last question. All right, so we talked about what we wanted to see. Everybody wants one thing that they want to move to the needle, or move the needle to the right. One thing during these 4 years, but the truth is, what is the measuring stick? Like, what would no kidding be the measuring stick in 4 years where you said, okay, this was a successful presidency, or it was, not a successful presidency? I feel like that's a question that's separate from what you want to see. But what would be the measuring stick? Because we know what they're up against. They're potentially up against the same type of GOP that Obama had.
Right.
So a lot of people are not educated on how government works. There's 3 branches and there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. So just because I'm the president don't mean that I can just say and do whatever the hell I want to. It's checks and balances for a reason.
Wait a minute. 4 years though, he did whatever the hell he wanted to do.
And because he had a whole Senate, he had a whole Senate that just signed off on them checks, man.
I call him dead face. Old dead face.
Those motherfuckers are opportunists too, man. And CEO, you dropped this huge nugget in our group chat about Kentucky itself. Yeah. Kentucky's the 6th dumbest state in this nation.
Yes.
And quite possibly one of the poorest.
And what have they done for him?
Mitch McConnell is the richest sitting senator in our country.
He's been in that bitch for like 34 years.
They keep making this dude rich, and he keeps his foot on their neck. I don't understand that shit. I will never understand it. And well, I guess if you do keep them dumb, that's what happens.
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
Keep them ignorant, and and honestly, that was the plan for us. Our plight was to remain ignorant, and we remain subservient. But we're resilient. We're resilient motherfuckers, and we're not gonna have that shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So what I think would be, okay, I can put it in two separate categories, two separate boxes. Box 1, we win Georgia in the Senate, and we take control of the Senate. They can make sweeping changes, solidify the Affordable Care Act, really get a hold on the coronavirus, and get the ball rolling on getting that under control. But for me, I think the biggest measuring stick would be, if you could do anything in those 4 years, the best progress I think that they could possibly make is to really get a handle on police brutality and qualified immunity. Definitely get rid of that shit, because if a cop beats me down and he's wrong, I want to sue him. I don't want my tax dollars back. I think I paid you. I don't want the money back that I paid you. I want it out of your pocket. I want to make you suffer. And the thing that we realize as kids, when we're young, is when we do something wrong and it affects us directly and we got to pay penance for it, we don't do that shit again. These motherfuckers have never had to pay penance for their actions. We do as taxpayers. Our schools are shitty because police departments are getting millions upon millions of dollars funneled in to cover their lawsuits. That money needs to go to our kids in our schools. So for me, you get some concrete federalized plans on how to defund the police the right way. People that are listening, if you think that defunding police is to take their guns,
allocation of money.
I'm not going to call you stupid, but you're stupid if that's what you think. You know,
move money around.
Right, move money to where it's needed. So, for example, if somebody's having a mental health crisis, you don't call the police. You call an expert.
Yes.
Police are not experts. So that's what defunding police. That's just one example. So for me, criminal justice reform.
Criminal justice reform. All right, Tris, measuring stick.
For me, the measuring stick starts at the first 100 days, right? Because the first 100 days lets us know where you're going in 4 years. Because the first 100 days, you got something to prove. You saying, boom, this is me. I'm the president. This is what I stand for. And like I said, the first 100 days, I want to see, same thing Doc want to see, police reform. I think we are all tired of seeing black people be gunned down by people with high school diplomas.
Yeah.
You can't tell me a motherfucker who can graduate high school with a 0.8 GPA can carry a gun because he got some training and kill me without me having a day in court. Right? Yeah. Most states don't even have the death penalty, let alone somebody gunning me down in the middle of the street without me having a day in court. Where I could possibly do life with parole.
Yeah.
You know, so my life could still go on after me having this incident with the police if I live through it.
Yeah.
But because you pull up scared of the color of my skin, you kill me.
Yep.
I don't think that's fair. So within the first 100 days, that is something I want to see you work on, right? I need to see you. Boom! This is the standard, and this is what the policy. Yeah.
Within in those 100 days, this is what the policy is.
Yeah.
And over the next however many years,
we'll go down from there.
This is what we're doing.
That's great. I think some people, the measuring stick for some people is to see reparation of student loans be gone, wiped away. That ain't realistic, right? It's too many students. I know somebody out here right now they owe $100,000 in student loans. They ain't want to give your ass $100 for coronavirus. They gave you $1,200.
Right.
Let alone wipe away. Come on, man. Let's be real. And the effects from student loans trickle down, right? Because we have a volunteer fighting force, which allows the GI Bill, and you know what I mean. If you join the service, we'll wipe away this much debt. So if we wipe away student loans off the rip, we are going to hurt our fighting force, which will cause a draft for the next war. No, I don't want to see none of that. I want to see, you sign some laws in place for police reform within the first 100 days.
I'm with that. And I definitely jump on that bandwagon. And what I want to see with that reform is we really got to talk about what are the qualifications to become a cop? And I'm not talking so what I'm saying is we all military at one point. Yeah. We had to maintain a certain standard of physical fitness. That's right. But let's find out what we're really finding the issues with, like mental stability.
Yeah.
So we really had to get the right people to evaluate these individuals, because what I'm saying is you can't see one race and accept certain things and see another race and not accept anything even close to what you accept over here and then make a rash decision.
Yeah, you're implicit bias. And I won't say that every cop is racist.
How many times have you seen white people in their face?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want your fucking badge number, Scott. You're over here. It's like, hey, cuz, what's up, man? My hands up. Don't move. It's over with. And it's hard for me. I cannot continue to, figure out how to break this shit down and look at variables. And the only variables that really matter is like at the end, you're like, okay, well, that's a white person, that's a black person. So you can stand for this. You can show restraint, patience, all this other shit over here, but there's none on this side. And I can't take that shit no more. And raising black sons, Trish, you got a black son. I got 2. Proc, you got 1. I can't keep doing that. As I look up and watch Ace grow, he almost 16 years old. He's to the point where he's not a little boy no more.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about this before. I don't know what age it is. All of a sudden, black boys, they become scary like overnight, right? Like, 2 years ago, oh, he's just a cute little kid. And then all of a sudden, years later, like, he's ready to take my life. This boy don't even know how to fight good yet. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be fucking realistic. And so that's the type of shit that I'm tired of dealing with. So measuring stick, I want to see that. But I'm gonna take another side too, because y'all know I'm a nerd and shit. We got to do something about the environment, bro. It's November in fucking San Antonio, and it's still clicking at 80 degrees. And a lot of people are like, oh,
this is good.
Well, you kind of understand how shit works because you got the background. I'm like, this is not good, bro. Like,
look,
shit is off. The earth takes a shower or some shit. Like, they pH balance is fucked up.
Yo,
need help.
It was 39 degrees here last night.
See, it's just like
next week it's gonna be 86.
That's what I'm 86. saying. It's not. So we gotta get that together.
Look, all of us can think about when we were growing up. You just had these known windows. All right, me growing up in Chicago, you in the Midwest as well. All right, September, October, November, temperature started to drop.
Yeah.
From December to fucking January, late January.
Crying.
Stay the fuck in the house. It's fucking cold. It's stupid cold. Mid-February into March, it's 50 degrees. We run around outside with shorts on.
But
that shit's gone now. That shit's gone.
You got to think, when you say conservative, you scared of change. Nowadays, that means scared of change. When conservative used to be, we scared of, using up all the earth's resources and things of that nature. It don't mean that no more.
Conservatism is totally different from what
I want to take my gun and I want to use all the oil. When you burn all that shit up, that's what that means now. But really, we got to get oil under control. Because first of all, America don't even have enough oil to fulfill. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, we can't sustain ourselves.
I tell people all the time, going green. I don't know if the Green New Deal is the answer, but going green is the answer for this country to boom again. Because first of all, we don't even have no exports to cover, the cost of everything. We depended on China for everything. And now they saying,
America stopped making stuff. America stopped being exceptional years ago.
Yeah,
decades ago. Long time ago. We don't make anything, man. All we do now, we do make this. We do make guns, bombs, missiles, planes, tanks, boats.
Our military is our export. It's the only export we got. That's it.
And Eisenhower, watch out for the military-industrial complex. Mm-hmm. We are the military-industrial complex as a nation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, man. But like we've all illustrated, I don't want to live the rest of my life when a cop car is behind me and the hair on the back of my neck standing up. Mm-hmm. I don't want to live that way, and I don't want my son to have to live that way. So that shit needs to end, man. I think that's a good starting point. You want to show you're committed to people of color in your first 100 days. You show us that you have a plan to alleviate that fear we all walk around with.
Yeah, man. So Tris, we had an hour, man. I appreciate you so much for coming on here. I'm telling you,
for having me, man. Thank y'all.
This dude is doing it all, man. Like amazing.
He's coming back.
Amazing father, activist, entrepreneur, businessman. You name it, he's pushing the bar forward, man. So you're raising your kids the right way, man. You being, everything that I think you inspire to be and more. I know Mr. Willie, super proud, your grandfather, my father-in-law. So
it's a whole nother podcast, man.
Yeah. It's Veterans Day, so we got to shout out our veterans.
Yeah. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, Willie Jackson. Willie Jack, that's my guy. That's my wife's father. That's Tristan's grandfather. We lost him a few years ago, so definitely want to send one up for him. My grandfather, Claude Warren Oliver Sr. He basically instilled me from the beginning. I had him for 17 years of my life, so I try to live up to his footsteps. My uncle Jeffrey Oliver, I just lost him this year. Another veteran. Both your grandfather and my uncle Marines. My grandfather was Army. So it's Veterans Day, so you definitely want to give respect to them.
My wife.
Yeah, your wife, Miss Evelyn, Evelyn Proctor. We know her strong fight, her calls, your call now, P ALS. So we definitely want to give love to her.
Right there.
She is right there.
She back there.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. See, Tristan still got this Air Force hate. We took care of you when you went to deploy. You
listen, man. Listen, I appreciate it. Sometimes y'all be late.
Yeah, we be late.
Nobody says we always had to be on time, man. Come on.
We ain't trying to be on time all the time, man.
We on time when it's time to go.
Yeah, all the nice facilities and shit.
I'm on target. Hey, that shit gonna be there, baby.
See, that's what he don't like, because we stay on the ground. Yo, send that pilot off and drop that shit. I'm saying,
we had a nice bed. Our chow hall, and we solid over there on that.
Bed bugs, y'all got fairies over there.
Man, but shit, that's CO and the doctor for the week. P, you got anything before we get out of here?
Triston, thank you, brother. I appreciate everything that you are doing, and keep touching other people, bro. Keep touching them.
Thank you.
Tris, you got any last minutes, man?
Man, to everybody out there who watching, don't give up hope. Hope is all we have, right? Hope and faith is what we've been running off of for 400 years. Don't give it up now. The fight ain't over, and it never will be over. Once you get lazy, they'll put their foot on your neck again, right? So we got to stay in this fight forever.
That's real, man. We on YouTube Live. We on Facebook Live. CO and the doctor, highly opinionated, very educated. Appreciate you again, Neff, man. Until the next time, this has been CO and the doctor. I'm CO.
I'm the doctor.
All right, man. Y'all be easy. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.